I'd only lived in the house for 3 days when I started to suspect that something was wrong with the coat closet. That sounds ridiculous, I know. It's the kind of thing you hear in a ghost story and roll your eyes at. But I'm telling you, there was something about that closet that didn't sit right. It was positioned at the end of the hallway, just past the bathroom, with a plain white door that didn't quite close flush to the frame. The knob was old brass, tarnished to a dull green at the edges, and it rattled whenever the furnace kicked on. That alone should have been fine. Normal, but it was. The first night I woke up at 2:47 a.m. to a sound like someone dragging a heavy bag across the floor. I lay there in the dark, heart thudding, trying to convince myself it was just the pipes or the old water heater. The sound stopped after maybe 10 seconds. Then I heard the closet door swing open, not violently, just a slow, creaking hinge that seemed to hold its breath before letting out a long, low groan. I got up, of course. I had to. I grabbed the baseball bat I'd kept by the bed since the divorce and crept down the hallway. The closet door was wide open. Inside, there was just a spare blanket on the top shelf, a few empty hangers, and a smell I couldn't place, like wet cardboard and copper. I shut the door, went back to bed, and told myself I'd imagined it. The second night, the dreams started. I was standing in a field I'd never seen before, under a sky the color of spoiled milk. The grass was brown and brittle, and it crackled under my bare feet like dry bones. In the distance, there was a house, my house, but wrong. The windows were black, the roof sagged in the middle, and smoke was rising from the chimney in thick, greasy coils. I tried to walk toward it, but my legs wouldn't move. I looked down and saw that the ground had opened up around my ankles, and thin white fingers were curling around my calves, pulling me down into the soil. I woke up gasping, the sheets tangled around my legs, and I could still feel the pressure, the cold grip, long after I was sitting up in bed. The third day, I called my sister. I didn't tell her about the dreams or the closet. I just said the house felt off, that I was having trouble sleeping. She laughed and said I was probably just spooked by the move, that old houses always made noises. She was right, that's what I told myself. I spent the afternoon unpacking boxes in the living room, listening to podcasts, trying to drown out the quiet, but the quiet was stubborn. It sank into the walls like water into wood, and by evening the silence felt heavy, almost pressing against my ears. That's when I found the scrapbook. It was in the bottom of a box I'd labeled Misk. Kitchen, buried under a stack of old cookbooks I'd never used. The cover was dark blue, faded to gray at the edges, with no markings on the front. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. Inside were newspaper clippings, yellowed and brittle, glued onto thick pages. The first one was from the local paper, dated August 14, 1987. The headline read, "Local woman claims deceased husband speaks through her church, performs exorcism." I felt a cold thread pull tight in my chest. I turned the page. Another clipping, same paper, dated 3 months later. "Second exorcism attempt fails, woman hospitalized." The articles went on. Each one detailed a different case of possession or suspected possession, all tied to addresses in this neighborhood. One family moved out in the middle of the night. A teenager was found wandering the highway, speaking in a language no one could identify. A priest was hospitalized with unexplained burns on his hands. I slammed the book shut and put it in the trash. Then I took it out of the trash and put it in the garage. Then I went to bed and tried not to think about it. I failed. The dreams got worse. That night I wasn't in the field. I was in the house, my house, standing in the hallway facing the closet. The door was open, but the inside was pitch black, deeper than any shadow had a right to be. I could hear breathing. Slow, wet, ragged breathing that seemed to come from all around me, like the house itself was drawing breath. I tried to turn away, but my body wouldn't obey. I was locked in place, my eyes fixed on that dark rectangle. Then the breathing stopped. And a voice, quiet and dry as dust, said, "You shouldn't have opened the book." I woke up screaming. I don't scream. I'm a grown man. I've been through things. I don't scream. But I screamed that night, and I didn't stop until my throat was raw. I sat in the dark, shaking, staring at the bedroom door, waiting for it to open. It didn't, but I could hear the closet door at the end of the hall, squeaking. Slow, like someone was pushing it open bit by bit. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat in the living room with all the lights on, drinking coffee that was mostly whiskey, and I tried to convince myself that I was losing my mind. That the stress of the move, the divorce, the new job, it was all catching up to me. I even Googled auditory hallucination signs and sleep paralysis and doors opening by themselves. None of it helped. By morning, I had a plan. I would cleanse the house. Not with a priest or holy water, I'm not religious, but with my own stubbornness. I'd open every window, let the sunlight in, play loud music, and reclaim the space. I started with the curtains in the living room, then the kitchen, then the bedroom. I saved the hallway for last. When I got to the closet, the door was closed. I stood there for a long moment, and I felt it again, that pull, that wrongness, like the air around the door was denser, colder. I reached for the knob. My hand was shaking. I turned it, and the door pushed open with a soft gasp, like it had been holding its breath. Inside, the closet was empty, exactly as I'd left it. The blanket, the hangers, the faint smell of copper. But something was different. On the back wall, just above the floor, there was writing. Scratched into the drywall in letters that looked like they'd been made by fingernails were two words: "Not empty." I slammed the door and backed away. I called my sister again. She didn't answer. I called my ex-wife, and she hung up when she heard my voice. I called the real estate agent who sold me the house, and he said he'd never heard of any issues with the property, that I was probably just stressed. I could hear the lie in his voice, smooth and practiced, like he'd told it before. That was 4 days ago. I've been sleeping on the couch with the lights on and the closet door nailed shut. I used 6-inch framing nails and a hammer, and I made sure the door was sealed tight. But last night I woke up to the sound of scratching, not from inside the closet, from the hallway just outside the living room. Like someone was dragging their fingernails along the wall, slowly, deliberately. I held my breath and listened. The scratching stopped. Then the closet door, the one I nailed shut, rattled in its frame. Once, twice. Then it went still. I haven't gone to check. I won't. I'm writing this from my phone, sitting in the corner of the living room with a hammer in my lap and a butcher knife on the coffee table. The sun is going down. The scratching has started again, but now it's coming from inside the walls, all of them, like something is moving through the house, circling me. The nails in the closet door are beginning to bend. I can see them popping out, one by one, pushed from the inside. The wood is groaning. I don't know what's in there. I don't know if it's a ghost or a demon or something the last owner left behind. But I know now that I wasn't supposed to find that scrapbook. I wasn't supposed to move into this house. And I'm starting to think that whatever's in the closet hasn't been trapped in there at all. It's been waiting. And now that I'm here, it doesn't plan on leaving. Neither do I, because I don't think it would let me. The closet door just split down the middle. I can see the darkness inside, and it's not empty. It never was.